All right, everybody, welcome back to the Move Podcast, brought to you each and every time by Oura. The Oura Ring, it's just the simplest thing there. I mean, it's all right here in this package, right here on my finger, tracking everything, tracking my sleep cycles, activity, recovery, all these key metrics, core temp, heart rate variability, sleep cycles, movement, right there on the finger. Way more accurate than the wrist, by the way. Partnerships with a bunch of the major leagues, NBA, WNBA, UFC, and now USA Surfing. Head on over to Oura Ring, O-U-R-A Ring. Sign up. I'll send you a sizing kit. You got to have the right size ring for your finger. Nail that down, and they'll send you a ring. Start tracking all these cool vital signs. By the way, 20 years ago, if you'd have said this was possible, we'd have just laughed. But now it is. We are talking about Stage 7. Let's cue Alain.
Stage 7, Vierzon to Le Creusot.
Oh, I mean, I looked at it and I thought it said Verizon. Verizon to Croissant. One more time.
You were close.
Stage 7, Vierzon to Le Creusot.
Ooh. I'm sitting here with J.B. Hager and George Hincapie, and we have a special guest today for the show. Everybody's favorite over there in Madrid, Johan Bruyneel, going to join us here in a little bit. Today's show also brought to you by Roka. Real simple. Founded by badass athletes for badass athletes. Everything about this company is amazing. The quality of the lens, the fit, the weight, the spectrum of offerings, not just performance glasses, but prescription glasses. The dope, sick titanium aviators, which I'm always rocking.
They do progressives.
Progressives in the prescriptions?
They can do the blue light filter if you're on a computer all the time.
Oh, really?
That's a nice
Now
offering.
that I did not know.
Yep.
Huh. They're just innovating. Down there in Austin, Texas. We love them. Head on over to Roka, R-O-K-A. That's Roka.com. Enter the move at checkout for 20% off for our listeners. Last one here for a bit. Today's show also brought to you by Amp Human and Momentous. The boomstick for this merger, 1 and 1 equals a lot more than 2. Huge fan of this company. Companies, which is now going to be one company. George and I have been just consumers of the Momentous protein powder forever. He may need to dial it up a little bit based on how sloppy his pull-ups looked yesterday. But it's great to see these two companies come together. One cool shout out for Amp Human and their PR lotion, which I swear by, is for the first time ever, and this, I don't know if you guys caught this or not, but RAM, the Race Across America, which is nuts, and people ride it in 7 or 8 days. Listen to this. For the first time ever, the overall winner was a female. Leah Goldstein from Canada, who was actually raised, I was just reading her story. First of all, she used PR lotion the whole time to win the overall. All you dudes, she just kicked your ass. Grew up, was raised in Israel, was in the special forces for 11 years. She's like, Ram.
She can do anything.
Oh, I got this. What an amazing story.
Definitely not as good as the story, but y'all were all laughing at me yesterday when I was lathering that stuff up all over my arms and my lats for our pull-up contest. And I'm not sure I'm able to say the result or not, but it was a bit of a shocker to LA. And I did more pull-ups than I've ever done. Perhaps after rubbing that Amp Human all over myself.
Well, you call those pull-ups, then, I call getting dropped on Pilot Mountain, we're even.
Doing 3 instead of 2, they're going to use that in their advertising. I
That's
promise
right.
you.
So head on over to amphuman.com/themove. Use the code TDF20 for 20% off site-wide on all Momentous and Amp Human products. And congratulations to Leah Goldstein. I tell you, that's a hell of an accomplishment. I mean, that's a hard event. No sleep, long,
I still remember you texting me a couple years ago asking if I wanted to do it with you.
I did?
You did. You did.
Maybe
I'll pull it up, and I was like,
maybe
hails to the no.
Hell of a no. Maybe the team thing.
Yeah.
We need to chase her down after the tour.
Yeah, we do.
That's a big story.
When are we going to bring Johan in here? Are we going to wait?
Anytime you're
we're going to
ready.
save him? Johan, come on into the show. There he is. I know for you loyal viewers and listeners, he's slacked a little. He doesn't have the fancy screen and the backdrop that he usually designs. There's no reaction. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. I can hear you. Yeah, I figured I'd keep it simple today, because I know you guys want me on the show to increase your ratings.
Yeah.
So next time if you want me again, I'll have an ice cream.
Yeah, we will do anything to increase our ratings.
Johan, I thought about you this morning. When I woke up before the whole move team. By the way, Johan and I are already in communication. But that breakaway, I'm having like flashbacks to when we used to be controlling the race for Lance. In a breakaway of 29 guys, I know that I'm on the radio constantly chatting to you like, Johan, who the hell is in here? Because you got to tell me quick. Because if we let them get more than 30 seconds, we're going to be chasing all day. So I'm just wondering, like, what's going on in the mind of the directors when the 29 guys are getting up the road, which very strong guys. I mean, there's got to be a lot of panic and chaos going on in the back in the cars there.
Yeah, I mean, especially today we could see already that because of the demonstration of power of Pogacar in the time trial, that it's going to be, or today at least, it was the UAE against everybody else. And you guys know what that feels like. I don't think there was a lot they could do. They started riding quite quickly. But first of all, teams of 8 riders instead of 9. They have 2 guys who are injured. So they kept it there at 30 seconds. Normally, the first instruction has to be already from the day before or whatever, and always automatically, whenever a group goes, you guys start riding.
Yeah, exactly.
Until you know who's in there.
Right.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Right. Yep. That's the first thing. But I think they reacted quite quickly. They just didn't have the power to bring it back because there were 20 seconds, 25 seconds, and one team cannot bring that back. It's impossible. 29 riders. There's some really, really, really big engines in there.
Yeah. What'd you say, Johan? The first hour, 51.5 kilometers an hour?
51.8, I just saw.
51.8.
After 3 hours,
49. I mean, that's...
So for all you crit racers and Tuesday night World Championship bikers, you get done with your hour-long criterium or hour-long hard training race, and you average 50 Ks an hour. That is a very, very difficult day. Think about 3 hours in, you're still at 50 K an hour, and you're just starting the race. You're not even getting to the mountains yet. Yep. These guys crawled across the finish line today one by one. Yeah. I mean, it was an incredibly difficult stage today.
Yeah, bodies everywhere. What'd you say? I think you heard Georgia was at one point pushing 115 on the tarmac.
Yeah, it was the temperature was the first real hot day. Longest stage in 20 years of the Tour de France.
And we've had cool days. Like don't think that's not, I mean, if you're cold or wet a lot of these days, I'd love for it to warm up. That is a hard transition, like to go from being kind of cold and wet to 115. The body don't like that.
No, you can see all the riders were all full of salt. They all needed a bunch of LMNT. They had the ice bags on. I mean, it was one of these days that, these guys finished exhausted today.
Johan, what do we know about Matej Mohoric? Now, listen, before we get into him, because I'm sure I just butchered that, and I want a cameo from Noosa, from Slovenia.
Another Slovenian.
I'm putting out an APB for Noosa. For you loyal listeners over time, Noosa was always coming on and telling us how to pronounce Primož Roglic. Then she helped us with Tadej Pogacar, or whatever they'd say. We need some, Noosa, if you're listening, come on, help us out with Matej Mohoric. What do we know about him?
Well, we know, he's been on the scene for a long time, since he was young. He was, if I'm not mistaken, he was 2 times world champion juniors. The first guy, he's the inventor of the super tuck, or like the super tuck riding position.
Come on.
Sitting on he won the world championships like that, like in juniors in Italy.
A junior's doing that.
You might not want to, I think some of the boys from other teams might disagree with you on that one, Johan, but we'll go with it on today's stage.
Who invented it?
I know Christian's always telling me he was one of the first guys to do it, which I don't know if it's confirmed. I think Sagan has said he's done it, so who knows?
I thought I
have to go back into the history books.
I thought it was Chris Froome.
No, it definitely wasn't Chris Froome.
No, but he did win the world championships using that technique. But he's a great rider. He's an all rounder. He is now joining the select club of riders who won stage in a Giro, Tour, and Vuelta.
Oh wow!
So, and yeah, he's a specialist of those long breakaways, and especially long stages. You know, you could see. I mean, even if he was with Stuyven, with Jasper Stuyven, and with Brent van Moer, two strong riders, you could see that it was just a matter of time until he was going to go by himself.
Well, you called it on our group chat. I mean, it was. Yeah, I mean, as you call most things, you predicted that.
Yeah, I said he's about to go solo. Yeah, I think it took like 2 kilometers. Yeah.
So Johan, you could take this basically this top 10 result sheet and put it on top of a Tour of Flanders or a Liège-Bastogne-Liège, and it's the same type of riders. I mean, today was a real sort of classic style race in terms of the energy they spent. I mean, Philippe Gilbert just sent me, I think we have the slide ready, his TSS score today, which was very similar or the same as Tour of Flanders or Liège-Bastogne-Liège, over 400 TSS score, which is an unbelievably hard day. I mean, look at that. 334 watts. That, by the way, that's including the neutral zone where they're barely pedaling. This is 7 days into the Tour de France. This is mind-bogglingly hard.
What is a TSS score? Help me. I don't.
Training stress score.
Oh.
So yeah, I mean,
where does one get
over
their?
Yeah,
I've never even heard of that.
Well, I mean, you know, you got to be on. That's why you guys have me here. That is a classics. You know, somebody who's winning the classics training stress score. We'll have to have Bobby Julik on here to explain the TSS more, but he's an expert on that.
That's a new metric for me.
Yeah, but I mean, especially the guys who were in the breakaway, of course. You know, I think the guys in the peloton will have had a little bit of an easier day. The first, not the first hour, but then, you know, once the tempo was set by UAE. But I think that this stage, you know, the amount of energy, the sweat, the distance, man, for those next two mountain stages, this can be it can bring some surprises.
Yeah,
what happened today.
I don't know how easy the stage was in the back, even for the peloton. Every time you saw the images, it was pretty much strung out. Yes, I think it was a very tough day for everybody.
Yeah, including and I know you tried to change your overall pick, Johan. That's not allowed. But the three of us picked Roglic to win the Tour de France. This was today, but bad day. I mean it's over for him now.
Yeah, it is.
And it's that crash that he suffered. I mean, the lasting effects of that. I chalk it up to that. I don't think it was
absolutely.
Much has been made about not racing since Liège and just training, and this crash was just too hard on him.
This is the main cause of Roglic's performance. You know, I mean, the first two stages he was equal, if not maybe a little bit better than Pogačar. So, it's there's no coming back from this. You know, I mean, and imagine, you know, we've seen those images. He looks like a mummy. You know, in the weather of today and that heat, with all those bandages on, I mean, I can't imagine racing like that.
Does he stay in the race, Johan, or does he go home?
You know what? I mean, from the little bit I know, I think he's going to stay. I think he's going to try to do something for his teammates. I'm pretty sure he's going to try to stay, unless physically it's impossible, of course. It was not a good sign today.
Today is definitely, actually, it was kind of sad for me to see, just because I wanted to see him up there. I felt like he added so much excitement to the race, and he's down a bunch of time. I don't know. He may still try to fight for the podium. He's 4 minutes behind, you know, some of the podium contenders. If he can recover from today and has a much better day tomorrow, then we'll see.
That's a tall task.
All these guys, every day we watch in these races, these stages, I feel like the playbook's being thrown out the window.
Yeah. Well, and like we said yesterday, the Mathieu van der Poel and Wout van Aert, they are inseparable. I mean,
what did you say when they were they both went? Your comment was,
I was like, do these guys go to the bathroom together? Like they do, and look, they're right there on the overall, separated by 1 second in the time trial. It's and whether it's cyclocross, the classic, they are just always together. And I'm so curious what that dynamic is like on a personal level. But man, you can't get these two guys apart.
And even though they're together, Van der Poel's planning on leaving to go do the Olympic mountain bike, so he can burn all the matches he wants.
Right.
Wout's there for the long haul.
Yeah. Well, now we're going to have to start. I mean, now look, and Johan, you know better than anybody, but we had this conversation last year about Wout van Aert because he was climbing. You know, he could be there when there's 10 guys left. He can time trial. He's now, boom, look where he's sitting. His team leader is out the back. Is this the time where we finally see if he is an overall contender?
I don't know. I think after tomorrow's climbs, it might be. Well, he
was a
can get through to tomorrow.
That was a question for Johan.
Okay, Johan, go
Since
ahead.
he knows everything, I would rather ask the guy that knows everything. Put him on the spot.
I don't think we're going to see Wout van Aert. I mean, listen, but they always surprise us, these guys.
Yep.
I think first of all, what's really impressive is that these two guys, cyclocross guys, classic specialists, are now sitting first and second in the classification of the Tour de France.
Right.
That's amazing. I think that the leader of Jumbo Visma is going to be Vingegaard now.
Right.
He looks good. Also, we have to see, tomorrow's stage. It's hard, the first mountain stage. What did it take out of Wout van Aert today? Because he was up there all day today, compared to sitting. And he has not been sitting in the wheels. One thing tells me today that he had two objectives. I think first, try to drop Mathieu van der Poel on one of the climbs so he could get yellow. That didn't work. Van der Poel was on him all the time.
I could have told him that wasn't going to work.
But I mean, maybe his ambition is to really give it everything tomorrow and try to take yellow tomorrow. That's a possibility.
That
I mean,
is.
he's sitting at 30 seconds. Although, those climbs are hard, and Côte de la Rome is very, very hard, very steep. So yeah, I mean, it's not going to be easy, but wouldn't rule it out.
Now,
You've done that climb. You've done that climb, Lance.
Which one?
Côte de la Rome.
I did?
Yeah.
This is...
well, I wanted you guys to comment on Jumbo Visma chasing when Wout's up ahead and not dropping back for Roglic. I think that backs up Johan's theory that Vingegaard is the guy now.
They weren't really chasing. I think they were more just trying to keep the guys in the front for these super narrow technical roads that were coming up. Because I asked the same question when I was watching in the morning. Why are these guys pulling? Why are they helping UAE? But I think it was just a matter of just getting their guys in the right position before the road narrows up.
Well, speaking of teams,
Yeah.
I mean, it's just glaringly obvious that as good as Pogacar is, his team isn't. Like, we got 2 weeks to go, and if this guy's the clear favorite, and this is a team game. These big mountains, if he's isolated.
Yeah.
So
this
today-
is really, really worrying what we saw today for
Yeah,
him.
I agreed.
One rider with him, and there was at least 50 riders left, or maybe 60. One rider with him, and then especially also, this has given now a reason for the other teams to keep going like that. I mean, today was the first little try to hurt the leader and his team. I mean, they hurt them bad.
So the question of today, Johan, is by Pogacar not responding, was that a very tactical, astute move? Because he realized Carapaz is attacking 200 meters from the top of that very difficult climb. Where is he going to really go after that with a downhill and an easier climb to come? Or could he not respond? That's the question.
No, he definitely could respond.
I agree. I agree with that. Yeah.
I think the one thing that is in his favor, a part of his amazing condition, is that he's a smart racer. He saw the situation and he made the best of it. He went to sit back. Don't show up in the first 10, 15, and everybody starts to kind of forget about you. They're just following the wheels in the back. And if you look at the end result, he comes out really good.
He came out the winner today.
And the way it looked for a second, he comes out really good after this situation. So he's a smart rider.
That's cool. I mean, being that young, it normally takes years to develop just that savvy in the peloton. And you're right. I mean, Carapaz, he burned some matches right there.
Some serious matches.
I mean, and at one point he had almost 40 seconds, and I even said, I was like, if he keeps this up, then you're closing this gap. And he looked good, but what happened at the finish line? Caught right at the line, and Pogacar just sitting back there, as Johan said, being smart.
Which brings me to my next question. Who did most of the work to chase down Karabatic? Was Movistar. Was that a tactical move, Johan, or was there a little bit of drama involved in that
Man,
chase?
I cannot. I mean, okay, obviously they know if they see that Primož Roglic is in trouble, that Geraint Thomas is in trouble, so they have ambitions with Enric Mas, was fifth last year, so those two guys are podium candidates, so they may already start to ride for the podium, but I cannot. I mean, after what happened last year, we all know that Carapaz left under bad circumstances, Movistar, and then what they did in the Tour of Spain, but basically helping Roglic to go after Carapaz on the last mountain stage. Today was more of the same, man. I mean,
I love this kind of
just,
drama. It's just, this is like Scarface shit. Like, I am gonna get you back.
Yeah, like, Johan, for our listeners
like
that don't know the whole story, I mean, Carapaz was won the Giro for the Movistar, promised the team that he was going to ride for them next year. Correct, right, Johan? Is that correct or not?
Correct, yeah.
And then ended up just signing a contract without even telling them and said, "Oh, by the way, I'm going to Ineos next year."
It's worse than that, George. It's worse than that. When he said that he was going to stay, he had already signed.
Oh my God.
With Ineos.
Yeah, that's a no-no.
So that's why they got so pissed off.
Well, then I think it's pretty clear what's going on there.
Yeah.
Yeah, those old, these Movistar guys, they've been around forever. Like, they're not going to get played like that. The directors, the guys who run that team.
Yeah, and you know what? It's a team you don't want to have against you. You know, I mean, they're not going to win, but they can make you lose.
Yeah, for sure. And they had, I think they had the most guys in that group of 20 today. So perhaps the strongest team in the race right now.
Wow.
Well, today Vincenzo Nibali comes into the picture, and some of us were like, I didn't realize he was in the race.
Well, and then Johan drops a bomb on us in the pre-show that I guess he's not even planning on finishing. So he enters, but I don't know what is that the truth, Johan? Is he preparing for the same?
He said that personally in an interview. So he did the Giro. Obviously, that didn't work out because he got the injury. He fractured his wrist and had to have a surgery. And now he basically started the Tour de France with the intention to prepare for the Olympics. So he said he was going to pull out after 10 days or something like that. But you know what? I mean, we've seen situations like that. If I am in the situation of Pogacar and I see a group of 29 riders go away with Nibali in there, once these guys are in position, they change their mind and they stay in. Imagine Nibali today takes the yellow jersey, or takes 6 or 7 minutes on Pogacar.
Right.
Where are you going to take them back?
Yeah,
they can stay in the race. You could stay in the race.
Yeah, even if you say you're going home, it doesn't.
Yeah. There was a lot of interesting tactics going on in the breakaway and in the peloton. And Johan, what did you think about Trek's strategy today with 3 very strong riders with Skujins, Stuyvens, and Nibali, and it felt like they weren't even they weren't working together. They were all, for all intents and purposes, they were all riding like they were on different teams. I thought that was strange.
That was strange. We don't know what the communication was. If without knowing anything, I would have said, okay, we completely ride for Nibali.
Yeah.
We try to get him as high possible in the classification, and then we'll see what's going to happen. It was going to be difficult if there was one guy who could win the stage, it was Nibali. But normally Stuyven, he finished second. He did a great ride, but there's always going to be 1 or 2 guys who are better. They were a little bit all over the place. So it could also be that Nibali says, you know what, listen, I'm not feeling great. I'm here, but you know what, I'm going to go home anyway. We don't know that, right?
But he wasn't racing that way. He was attacking and being very aggressive and trying to get away early on. So for them, for his guys not to get all behind him, I thought was very strange.
Yeah, but and of course they can say they're going home, but they can change their mind too. Speaking of Jasper Stuyvens, who's a great kid, by the way, but I've just been following, and I say it every day, I've been following the sports betting around, and they're betting on cycling, so you can bet on each day, bet on the stage winners. You can bet on the winner, and then you can bet on the podium. So Stuyvens had decent odds to win, but he had, that's an easy pick for the podium on a stage like this. And Yeah, that would have been a fun play. Johan, you'd be a gazillionaire if you were betting on this stuff. So Johan, now all of a sudden he's like, gazillionaire.
Maybe he is betting.
And I'll tell you what,
No,
days
no,
like
he-
today, when a breakaway is, got a good chance to make it, it's super hard to predict the winner. That's why the odds are so high.
Yeah. Well, that long, anything can. I mean, who would have thought
Well,
29 guys
George,
go up the road and.
George, I think I said pretty early that Mohoric was going to go.
Oh, you did? No, you definitely did on the.
No, but we're talking about the night before.
That's
they don't,
once-
they,
yeah,
they don't
once-
let you. They don't let you bet in the middle of the race. Johan.
Once he's with two other guys, yeah, the odds are definitely coming down on that one.
Hey,
Yeah.
Johan, what's going on in Slovenia? I mean, I remember when these two gentlemen sitting next to me were stars of the tour, and we were filling bars in the U.S. and watching big mountain stages in early in the morning. And Slovenia has to be going crazy.
I think so. I mean, already, listen, they won the tour last year. They were first and second. We've seen the amount of people that were out on the roads in the stage in the Giro d'Italia that went through Slovenia, and their stars were not even there. So, yeah, it must be crazy. It must be crazy. But, I think it's a bittersweet. It's a bittersweet day today for them.
Right.
They win the stage with Mohoric, who, by the way, if now that I remember it, had a very, very bad crash in the Giro d'Italia.
Yeah.
They showed it on.
He's
They
the
showed it
guy-
on American TV here, where he was. They stopped it. He was standing on his head,
Yeah.
literally
Yeah,
upside
yeah.
down.
And what happens when
Yeah, and so
when so many riders from a small country like that does so well, it inspires the rest of the country, like you
course.
saw in Colombia.
Mm-hmm.
You know, all these amazing Colombian cyclists now.
In fact,
Yeah.
Mohoric and Pogacar were cooling down together.
Oh, really?
You know opposite teams, but they were on their stationary bikes
Yeah.
cooling down together.
Well, he might.
Yeah.
Based on we just talked about this. How this team is suspect. He's going to need, and this is the way the game works, right? You find your friends, you find your allies. There's always that's smart of him.
let me tell you, those two teams, I really don't see them work together. UAE and Bahrain.
Oh, is that a little? Are you're going to jump straight into the Middle East conflict?
It's not.
And then
gonna
why don't we
happen.
throw in the Israeli team while we're at it? How's this? Is this like World War III here? What's happening?
No. UAE and Bahrain are not going to work together. Don't think so.
Ah,
Then why?
nudge, wink, wink.
Speaking of that, Johan, why was Direct Energy helping UAE there for so long?
There's two reasons. First of all,
Sheikh
have-
so and
it's
so
like
was
a-
like, give me the bank account numbers.
no, absolutely not. But they didn't have anybody in the breakaway. So the punishment treatment of the director. Okay, guys, I told you. Now you're gonna pull.
Well,
second-
when there's 29 guys, that they deserve to be reprimanded. Yeah, that's too many.
And then I think also one of the big reasons is that they have faith that Pierre Latour can do a good classification, and if a group of 29 goes away, there's 2 or 3 guys in there that could be a rival that they didn't expect for Pierre Latour in the GC.
Let's
Yeah,
talk
I
about
think that was the main reason.
He's sitting 9th right now in the overall. So yeah, that's a great reason, Johan.
and it gives them cover. Even if the Sheik did send a fun wire transfer, it's cover.
Yeah.
There is a chance we finish top 5. So, but I actually think there's no excuse for not having a guy up there when there's 29 guys. up
Yeah,
there.
on a
The
flat- on a
director must be livid.
On a flat start, I mean, it was totally flat.
Yeah.
Tomorrow's a whole different scenario.
Just
It's an
be up
uphill
front,
start.
heads up bike racing, follow the wheels, get in the brake. Boom. It's not.
Speaking of heads up biker, Mark Cavendish getting another 20 points in the green jersey. I mean, this guy is on the form of his life right now. Awesome to see.
Yeah. Today's show also brought to you by Hammerhead. Hammerhead's new K2 Karoo 2 game changer when it comes to head units. Live Strava segments, incredible mapping. Super proud of what this team has built. Also got a team in the tour, the ISN with Froome and Woods and bunch of great guys. Also, the cool thing here, Bicycling Magazine's Editor's Choice in Cycling News as well, Gear of the Year. I mean, this is, I say it all the time, like if whatever you're riding as your head unit is, it's like a flip phone compared to this. It's your iPhone 12. Head on over to hammerhead.io And the Karoo 2 is on sale now. That's hammerhead.io. Check it out. Game changer. Well, shit's about to get real tomorrow, right? I mean, it got real today, but tomorrow this is all stacking up. Crashes, stress of the first week, hot day, long day today. Bam. Hello, Alps.
All the sharks smelled blood. Also, UAE did not have a great showing today. Pogačar was by himself for the most part, the last 20 kilometers. What does that do? That makes Ineos was going to want to attack and want to send their heavy hitters up the road. We'll see what Jumbo does tomorrow. It's going to be a very aggressive start, straight uphill after a day like today, when these guys basically burnt every match they had. They're starting straight uphill tomorrow.
And as long as Vanderpool stays in yellow, he stays in the race, which is fun.
Johan, you still there?
Yeah, I'm here.
All right. So a question for you: If we had a similar day, because we've had similar days like what happened today with UAE, where Lance was by himself, especially
one time.
Well, one time, but especially after the first mountain day, because the first mountain day of the Tour de France, everybody reacts differently. You know, you've gone through all the stress, flat racing, power stuff. You hit the mountains. Not everybody is quite prepared for that. They may be later on. What's the strategy for UAE going into tomorrow's uphill start, and then of course all the climbs at the end?
I fear for them tomorrow. I really fear for them because you know with the start uphill, they're going to lose guys straight away. And
I think they have to send some.
Can I just? I'm looking at. I hadn't paid attention that closely, George, but
That's a shocker. That's a new one.
Before I get into it, the stage is short. It's 150 kilometers, which is a short stage. That's a full 100 kilometers shorter than today. I didn't even know the start was uphill, but now I do. I'm looking. It's not categorized, but I'm just doing the math. Right out of the gate, 5K, 7%.
Those are the worst. By the way,
I mean, this is the worst. I mean, this might even get me up. This might get me up early. There's going to be fireworks. 7% right out of the gate after today.
If I'm UAE, I'll tell you what I would do. Johan, let's see if you agree. I'm going to send my best climbers. You got to go in the break at the start. Go with any moves that go, and at least be up the road for Pogačar when you need him. Don't sit back with him. You got to. If you have the strength, you got to go with a big group right from the start.
Well, they may do that now, George, because as you know, they're listening to the move, the directors.
I know you tell us to do that.
That's cool.
Yeah. No. I think that's their only solution for tomorrow. To have some guys around Pogačar later on, is send their best climbers, which is Rafa Majka and Mark Hirschi, and there's one Enric Costa, I guess.
Yeah.
But you know, I have some. I have some questions about their selection also. I don't know what went into the selection, but for example, I can't understand why a guy like Jan Polanc. No. Jan Polanc, not Mark Padun. Jan Polanc is a great climber. Was pink jersey in the Giro, I think 2 years ago. They're going to need him. They're going to need a guy like that. So I agree, George. They have to be ahead of the game and try to send guys in their best climbers in the breakaway.
I'm just trying to figure out what time because this start's going to be fireworks. I need to get
warming up tomorrow.
Maybe I'll DVR it because I don't want to get up that early.
There'll be guys warming up on the trainers, spinning around. They're going to want to get their legs going.
Let's talk about. You absolutely have to. Everybody has to warm up.
Yeah, you said 5K at 7%.
Yeah,
that's a legit climb.
Yeah, and you if you look at the profile, because what you do is you go across the top, look at the categorized climbs. This is not categorized; they just snuck that in there. But if that thing is anywhere else in the race, it's absolutely categorized. But look, it's just like, we're going to start, boom, 7%,
and I see about an 80% chance of rain at the finish
with the downhill finish. You know how much we love these.
This is all good. This is the kind of good drama that we wanted. We didn't want that stuff when it was happening in the beginning of the race. We want this sort of stuff.
Yeah. Wow. Yeah. Should we try to pick some winners?
Oof.
Make some predictions?
It's a tough one.
It is a tough one.
Johan, go
Everybody,
first.
It's dead quiet. Everybody's like, who's the idiot's going to go first?
For the stage of tomorrow, wow.
Oh wow!
He's
even
stunned.
even
He's
the even
speechless.
the sensei is speechless. We have a
I mean, I haven't thought about. I haven't thought about it.
I'll go. You want me to go?
Go ahead.
Yeah.
I'm going to say the stage is so short and it's going to be so aggressive that I don't think the breakaway will actually make it, and I think Karapat will win tomorrow.
he flies on the downhills, right?
Yeah, he's a good descender.
If he's this is these downhill
Got the
finishes.
best team in the race. Can make the difference. Even if a breakaway is 2 to 3 minutes, 4 minutes on those last couple climbs, they can catch him.
That's a good pick.
That's a good one.
That's a good pick.
Yeah.
Oh boy, guys are killing me. Can I have a minute? What about
Wow,
Nibley?
I
What
stumped you
about
guys.
Nibley? Is he fit enough to get over that? Because there's nobody goes downhill like him,
Nobody can go there,
especially in the rain.
He was there today. He was aggressive, but he didn't have it quite at the end. I mean, Van Aert and Van der Poel just rode away from him, which is not very common for a Nibali.
What about Quintana going for a stage win?
He'd be a good one.
Yep. I don't want to bet against. I'm gonna saddle up with George on this one.
Johan, it's up
And
to
these
you.
guys, and they have to. I mean, now's the time. They got to start chipping away. So he's incentivized to.
Johan,
attack.
we're going to hold off on your pick because people want to hear your
I know.
pick.
I just.
They gotta go
Yeah.
to your
I'm
show.
not gonna. I'm gonna save my pick for the JB squared.
Oh, perfect.
I thought that I knew what you were doing.
Yeah, I like it.
Hey, and this is important too. We because I look at the YouTube and Facebook comments, there are a lot of people that only watch the show, instead of just getting the podcast feed and listening to it. And so I see the comments, where's Johan, where's Johan, where's Johan? You got to jump on and start using podcasts if you don't, because we have an entire show dedicated to letting Johan go deep, really
and
deep.
that's everywhere. Whether it's on Apple, on Google Play, SoundCloud, Spotify. It's you can find it.
I just keep seeing that again and again. There's people who don't realize that there's a whole show dedicated.
Or
to
go to wedo.team.
Yeah.
There'll be direct links there. I'm pretty sure.
Couple questions.
Couple questions.
All right, I'll get laughed at because I kind of got laughed
Wait,
at.
can I just give a shout out? I got a new tee.
I know. I'm
on a
kind
second.
of jelly on that tee.
I know. I walked in and George was looking. Well, hang on, make sure everybody can see this. The most popular tee we've ever made. See in the douches, new one, kind of tonal, at the blue bar there. Available for members only. At the moment.
Speaking of new, Johan, can we send you a new pair of headphones? Did you guys notice?
It looks. Yeah.
Yeah, they're
I don't
getting
know
a
if you're
little.
chewing on them.
Yeah,
or
what
your
are you? Are he wear? Maybe that's how much he's.
Your lab's getting a hold of them.
No. I think you guys sent me an old one, by the way. It was an old one.
It's a tight budget. We got those at the secondhand store.
All right, questions and comments here, and I kind of got laughed at this morning when I threw out this theory, but our listener Glenn thinks the same thing. Could MVP be fooling everyone with this story about leaving early for the Olympics?
It's not a crime. I've had a lot of people ask me that. I don't.
I don't think so.
I don't. That would piss people off. And it's he doesn't strike me as the kind of kid that's going to play a game like that. He does strike me as the kind of guy that says, as long as I'm here, I'm racing.
Yeah. I mean, Higgs, pull up that slide of him at the finish today. He's going all in on these stages. It's not like he's taking it easy. The guy's racing his heart out every day, and it's pretty awesome to see him respecting the yellow jersey like that.
Damn. Shoes off even. Wow. He lose the jersey tomorrow? Johan? Thoughts? George?
Van der Poel?
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
I agree.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I think he loses the jersey.
I'm done trying to figure out what this kid does and doesn't do. Like he's.
No, I think you could really see that today was his. I mean, he gave everything to stay in yellow today. That was his goal. I think he's realistic. He didn't train in the mountains,
including sprinting to the line as hard as he could for fifth place. No time bonus, no reason. Like what?
I know a lot of our listeners recall us having this conversation about Alaphilippe, who stayed in yellow again and again. We kept going, "Oh, this is tomorrow he loses it. Tomorrow he loses it." He kept surprising us.
Yeah. Well, if he does want to go home, because you can't go home when he has that jersey on his back, then maybe that's part of the plan.
Cool.
What else we got?
My question is a bit out of the blue, but was prompted by rain that fell on stages 4 and 5. I seem to recall that Lance stated he had an aversion to racing in the rain, in particular hated descents in the rain. Now that he's all in with gravel riding, how does he perceive and react to the differences between wet pavement and loose gravel? It's kind of an interesting thing. That's from Christopher in Woodland Hills, California. You're not racing and descending on gravel. That's a big
when
difference.
I'm on
right there.
gravel, I'm just out chilling and enjoying my day. I'm not trying to get set any speed records going downhill.
I'm not a big fan of the downhill KOMs. I see no reason for them.
Yeah. I mean, you look, if fall over, break a collarbone, lose this pull-up contest to George. It's real simple. Yeah. No, I'm pretty conservative on not so much on the mountain bike. On the mountain bike, I let it fly, but on gravel, take my time.
Okay. Hi guys, loving the stage breakdowns and all the insights into the race. Johan has touched on some of the big picture tactics other teams need to employ against UAE, given Pogacar's dominance in the time trial. I'd love to hear the specifics of what Johan would do if he were managing Jumbo or Ineos. What would you do? That's from Tom B. in Ann Arbor.
It could be a good JB2 question.
Yeah. Yeah. But, I think we saw the first part of that today. And it's going to be like this one thing that has changed now is that one of the big favorites is out of the game, Roglic, which may give hopes to other teams to all of a sudden they see it more realistic to be on the podium. And then, who thinks about the podium, then they say, okay, if we can be second or third, and maybe the first one has a bad day, we can win. But they have to go in. They have to go in early moves to isolate Pogacar. Get rid of his teammates. And once it's Pogacar by himself, then he's strong and he's stronger than the rest. But you can't go after everybody. The question is then, okay, what kind of allies he's going to find? He's going to find the allies because the Tour de France has this particular thing that other classifications are important. But they have to go early. Even Geraint Thomas has to go. Richie Porte has to go. Kruijswijk has to go.
Whatever happens tomorrow,
they have to go in early moves.
It's going to be a big shocker on who ends up in yellow.
Heads up, we all have to get up. Talking about wake-up calls, we are going to, they're looking at a 4 p.m. Central European time finish. So typically we've been finishing outside of today, 5:15, 5:30 European time, which for us is, 9:15, 9:30. This is a whole nother, because it's a weekend. So they're not trying to play for the primetime crowd on a weekday. So this is a weekend. So they're going to finish. This has nothing to do with the race. This all has to do with our wake-up times. But we're going to have to get up a little early. Damn.
Those alarms.
Something else you may not have noticed, and I didn't notice it, but our astute listener, viewer, Karen, pointed it out, how dope Johan's T-shirt is. Did you notice? Go back.
7+. I agree. It's dope.
Hey, if it's the weather like you mentioned, if it's raining and super technical, I'm not going to count out seeing Nibali in the yellow jersey tomorrow, which would be the ideal outcome for Pogacar. He's got a very strong team behind him. He's smelling the lead right now. Let's watch out for Nibali tomorrow if he's recovered from today.
That's yeah.
And we should let people know that last night we had our first of this tour happy hour for the members.
Had a blast.
And it's mostly non-cycling questions for these guys, which is really, really fun.
Yep.
You can still jump into the membership and
nothing off limits. Season pass. Just head on over to WeDo.team. Sign up for the season pass. I had fun. We kind of, we were razzing George a little bit.
Yeah, I don't think I'm going to be part of the next one. Actually,
he might leave the show if we keep doing this to him. He was, and it was hard to watch.
I mean, I'm used to you picking on me, but when JB starts jumping in, that's a whole nother.
I actually
level.
think that was the
ready
thing.
for that.
It was a pile on, and
Next thing you know, Tiff's going to be our main squeeze. Tiff's going to be all over me.
God. All right. Well, I guess we'll be up bright and early tomorrow morning.
Well, before we finish, somebody mentioned maybe having Johan join us in the next happy hour. It'd be kind of fun. I know it'd be super late for you, Johan, but if we can figure it out,
He'll be having
Oh, my
coffee.
God.
We'll
set
be
your
having
alarm like
happy
2
hour.
in the morning.
Yeah, we could.
I'm fine with that time. You guys know that.
Yeah, you're having dinner
I'm
at
up
1
late.
a.m., so you're probably just finishing dinner.
George, let's consult the technical team before we throw things.
That's
like
right. That
out.
was
Good point. Good point.
round of applause.
But you never
back there.
know. You never know.
All right, heading into the Alps tomorrow. We'll be here, same place, same time, talking about it. Thanks for tuning in.